What's up, fight fans? It's your girl, Maddie Levine, back here for the 1-2 punch. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for giving this channel so much love so quickly. I see you guys, I love you guys, and we're going to keep giving you the content that you've been craving. And this week, I'm really excited to talk to the champ. He's a New England champ, and he's on the rise, and I have no doubt he will be on the UFC roster whenever he gets that call. So we're going to be talking to Billy Goff. What's going on, Billy? Or should I say Bilbo Baggins?
Yeah.
You're such a goofball. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm really excited to hear how you're feeling about your big win at CES 66.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good. I'm kind of coming down from the high of everything.
Yeah.
Again, it was a great weekend. And luckily it was a quicker fight, and so I don't have really any injuries. My elbow's a little sore, but I don't mind it being a little sore.
Yeah, for a good reason, right? So for those that might have missed it, last weekend Billy Goff was fighting for the vacant. Was it vacant? It was vacant, right? The vacant welterweight title, and he went up against a very game opponent, Gary Boletto, and you end up finishing him in the first round via ground and pound, right? Or elbows.
Yeah, technically. Well, so technically, because he stopped it, so it's technically.
Right. But technically, it may have had to do with those elbows. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about round one. Seeing as how this is the only round we can really talk about. Were you surprised at how quickly you were able to get him to the ground?
No. So I wasn't really surprised by us going to the ground, because I figured it was going to happen eventually, because it always does. A lot of my fights usually always end up on the ground. But I didn't want to go to the ground. My intention wasn't to take it to the ground. It kind of just, the way that we were moving, we just fell right into it. It was there. It was more instinctual. So I wasn't surprised. I do wish we could have stayed on our feet longer. So I should have. I don't know. It's weird because you would I want to work my stand up more in fights. So just get up, just let them off the ground. But it's when you're in there and you have them on their back, it's do I really want to let them up? Come on, I have a position.
When you're winning, and sometimes you just got to go with the flow of the fight, and that's exactly where it took you. Right at the beginning of the fight, we had to pause for a hot second because I think there was a nail or something that poked right through the canvas. Did you see that happen, and did it affect you at all? The fact that you guys had to wait it out?
It was weird, for sure. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what was going on because I was just pacing back and forth.
Right.
And he comes in, and then they do the whole announcing and everything. We come back, and I'm just sitting there and I'm pacing, and then we're just not starting really. And then Brian Miner, the ref, comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, we got to hold off for a second. There's a nail sticking out of the canvas, and we can't fight with that." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I wasn't expecting that. Had to tell my coach that, and then Gary came up to me even and said, showed me his foot that he stepped on it. I was like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
It's never happened before, and it probably never happen again.
Probably not. And I had Joe Lozon sitting next to me in the commentary booth, and he kind of walked us through. He was funny. He was trying to explain how a canvas is made and how there's nails and wood involved and how it could potentially slip through the canvas. But I'm glad that it didn't affect the fight at all. I was worried that Gary was going over to you to say, hey, man, my foot is not okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't give you that inclination at all, right?
No, and it wasn't bleeding. It just looked like a little scrape. It probably wasn't sticking through that much, so I don't think it affected him. It's always weird, when you get in there and you're all amped up and ready to go, and then you just have to sit there for another minute.
Right.
So that's always a little weird, but outside of that, I don't think it really fazed either of us.
And Gary was clearly the hometown guy that night. We were in his backyard. Do you enjoy being the away team? Do you enjoy having the crowd not necessarily against you, but certainly not there for you? How do you respond to those sorts of things?
I love it. And that crowd wasn't against me. There wasn't really any It was just they were really all for him. Like I still had my own crowd,
Yeah.
but it was it's his house, and I love that because then it makes me look even more like the underdog. Mm-hmm. So I love being the underdog, and it's a perfect scenario.
There was a moment when you had the belt put on your shoulder. I heard your coach kind of yelling at you like, "Look at his forehead. Look at those scars." And I was like, that is one proud guy. So Tell me a little bit about the relationship that you have with your head coach.
Oh man, it's in a lot of ways it's he's like a friend in a lot of ways. I look at him like a dad and as a coach and just like advice. Like he's really smart too. So like if I have a question, like, hey, what do you think about this? Like I run so many things about my life just through my coach. Like, hey, should I do this or should I not do this and that? And a lot of it is like I look up to him in a lot of ways and I respect him. Like he's one of the toughest, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And it's like, there's not too many people in my life that I met that I would love to be like in certain ways. And in a lot of ways, I do want to be like him. So he's given me the backing that I need to get through a lot of things in my life, like struggling here and there. And I love him. He's been a huge help for me.
That's awesome. So what's his name and what is the name of your gym again?
So his name is Michael Dexter. People just call him Dex. He fought at heavyweight. He's had a few belts. He fought Sean Gannon. He had a good career. We fight out of the Rough House in Groton, and our fight team's Team Dexter Valley too, though.
That's awesome. And I noticed that a lot of you guys wear nail polish. What's the deal with the nail polish?
So when I was first introduced to it, like my coach always paints his nails black usually, or he'll do big toe red or something. And when I was first introduced to it, it was like, oh, it protects against nail fungus and it keeps your toenails from chipping, like when you throw kicks and stuff.
Wow.
Like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. So I started doing it. And then it turned into like, all right, now I just want to do it. So now I pick all different funky colors. I do designs what I can. I'm not very good at it, but if I can get somebody else to do them.
That's amazing. What color did you go with last weekend?
Blue, because I was the blue corner. I was wearing blue shorts, so I was like, I got to go with blue.
That's rad. And do you have a lady in your life, correct? I think you mentioned her before.
Yes.
How does she feel about the nail polish? She's cool with it?
Yeah, she's done my nails.
I love it. I love it. That's wonderful. What a good relationship you two have. How long have you been together?
We've been together since November.
Excellent. Well, good for you. It's always nice to have somebody that you can count on and that gets it, right? I mean, having a relationship and being a fighter, not easy. So tell me how that's been for you, trying to balance a relationship and being a pro fighter.
Yeah, so I mean, I actually have a really good example of it. It pulls so much away sometimes. Like if it's not like it's hard too because like in past relationships I've had people get mad at me because like I'm always working out. I don't skip practice. Yep. I don't go out. And I've never been a party guy, but even more so, I don't go out and party, and I don't drink at all. And there's just a lot that I don't do because it's not good for you. And I'm busy all the time. Plus I have to work full time because fighting doesn't support me. So I'm super busy. And when you're with someone, it's really hard for them to handle that when they have more time and they want to see you all the time. So in the past, it's been really hard navigating that. And there was actually a point in my life, in my career when I was a pro, and I'm not going to blame my losses on it. I'm not going to say it was the reason why. But my two losses, I remember the week of my second loss, we were fighting Saturday night. Wednesday night, the night before I was cutting weight, I was up to like 3:00 in the morning arguing with an ex. Yeah, it was, I mean, I wasn't the healthiest in that relationship either. I'm not going to put everything on her, but like it can pull so much away. Like those little arguments, like it's so taxing when you're already doing something extremely taxing as fighting and training all the time that it makes it hard. And it even gets to the point where like, I think I'm just going to stay by myself for a while, not even going to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear that you have somebody that gets it. I mean, you didn't seem too stressed out this fight camp, so that's always
Nah,
a plus. And I
we
totally
have,
get that, man. Like, I've had I've been in relationships where it was like it's me or the gym, and it's like, okay, see you later. Like people just don't get it sometimes. So I'm glad that you have somebody that gets it.
yeah, and I could imagine like even specifically like for since you're a woman who trains and like it gets even harder if you meet a guy who doesn't train.
Right.
Like there's teammates of mine who've had hard times getting a boyfriend. And like when you meet them, like oh these are the guys that I train with, and it's like oh they're just
Right.
they're all pissed off and trying to puff their chest. It's like easy now, Tiger.
Exactly. And that's probably why I found a guy and married a fighter and it all worked out in the end, you know? It all works
Good
out.
one too. So it's not like
Exactly. He's
not
a
like
good egg. I
bad.
think I'll keep him. I think I'll keep
Yeah.
him. But you've had such an incredible career. And in the past coming months, I feel like everything is starting to really flow for you. You have 2 belts under your belt, if you will. And moving forward, I mean, what's next? Obviously, we want to see UFC, but do you have plans solidified coming up in the next few months at all when it comes to fighting?
Nope, I got somebody brought something, and then I didn't get an offer from the promotion, but somebody brought something to me about like PFL in April, but it was a quick turnaround from my coach. He was like, no, we like the guy they offered was really good. They're like, nope, we want a full camp. Let's especially when you're stepping into a bigger stage, like you want it to be the right fight. I would take like I told him yes already. But that I leave all that up to my coach. Like I would take every fight, every offer, and it's just hard because I can't do that. So there's things I want. Like I'd like to get CFFC's belt. I actually messaged them today on Instagram saying, "Hey, who's got your belt?" And I got to defend my belts eventually. If so, it's pretty much right now until the UFC calls. It's staying busy.
Mm-hmm.
If Bellator calls or bigger promotions like PFL, anybody with a bigger stage, like yeah, I'll take it.
At this point, if it's not a title fight, does it almost feel not worth it for you? Because I feel like it's just been title fight after title fight.
Well, it depends. I mean, like I want to be able to get a title fight in Bellator, so it's like if they gave me a non-title fight, then it would be worth it. But if it was like if I went to CFFC and they said, hey, we'll just give you a fight and it's not for a title, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. You're not big enough to make me. It's not worth it.
Mm.
Like I'd still want to fight, but my coach would say, no, there's no point. Like traveling, big, like you're taking on because especially when you enter a new organization, you're most likely going to make less than if you had a couple fights with them already.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of factors. Right now, we don't have anything set in stone, but I'm healthy and I'm ready to go. So once we start, like right now, I'm taking a little bit of a break for a couple weeks. Let my body.
I hope so. You know, sometimes you need to let the body rest, maybe celebrate a little bit. Was there anything you did was there anything you did to celebrate?
Well, since I've had about 4 pizzas since Friday.
Excellent. Good start.
It's pretty much just been eating. That's all it's been.
That's fine.
Sleeping and eating. And yeah, I haven't gone out. Like I said, I don't drink. I don't party. I don't do anything. I just naturally don't. I didn't do it growing up, and so now I've just been eating. I downloaded Elden Ring, and I'm playing that now. So
I'm not familiar. What is this?
I'm not too familiar with it either. My friends, it's like, do you know Dark Souls? It's a video game that's supposed to be hard. I don't know much about it myself either. So, but it's a big open world, expansive. So it's time consuming.
As long as you fit in a couple date nights, okay? To make sure you get date nights in. Make you feel good. Yeah. You said that you also have, a day job. So what is your day job?
So year round, I've done a couple. I stay pretty busy. Like I was just refereeing wrestling, and I also started my own business right before it snows. When they get boats ready for the winter and they cover them with plastic, I started my own business doing that. And also I work at EB. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, electric boat, right?
Yeah. So I work there. I'm a draftsman, so I just sit on a computer all day and just type.
Yeah. I actually grew up right next to Quonset Point in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. So there's like a big electric boat situation down there.
Everything revolves around that.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
Actually, I had 2 job offers out in Quonset when I was younger, but I had to turn them down because they were going to be second shift, and I want to be able to train.
No, second shift, all set with that. So I'm glad you didn't do that. But ideally, right, let's manifest a little bit. How soon would you like to say, I quit to those daytime jobs and you just become a full on fighter?
So it's hard because if I can figure out sponsorships, like now that I have 2 belts, I'm upping my sponsorships. That's something I was telling my coaches, I was telling my teammates, like, yeah, I wasn't charging a lot for sponsors, and I didn't really start doing sponsors until like several fights into my pro career.
Mm.
And so now it's like, all right, now I have I'm a big name in New England. So it's like I can up my sponsors now. And if I can get that situated, get the right pay, like with now that I've fought for CS and Case Shines, I've got your belt. Now it's all going to be just defending it. So the pay is only going to go up and get better. Once I get situated to where it's like, all right, I can make like 30 grand a year off of fighting, then I could quit my job. But until then, it's just not, I can't. Yeah, I want to start coaching at my coach is talking about getting a new gym, a bigger gym. Right now ours is pretty small. It gets the job done, but for sure, but it's not like you go to FAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like they have a huge gym, and at least they have a couple gyms actually.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have big gyms where there's like you can sprint back and forth and do it all kinds of stuff. But like for ours, it's like you can roll around, but you can't really run. You can't get into a full sprint.
Right.
So once he gets a new gym, we can start doing privates and more classes, day classes, and all kinds of stuff. And then I can like actually situate myself so I can put more towards fighting. Because I know a lot of fighters, that's what they do. They train and then they work at their gym.
Yeah.
I don't really have that option because it's not set up like that yet.
Right. And like, it's so crazy. People don't realize like, okay, yeah, I'm a professional fighter, but I also have to work here and I have to do this and I have to do that. Like it's so hard to actually make a living off of it. And to be able to, I mean, I tip my hat off to you and I tip my hat off to a lot of professional fighters that take the time to do that. Where would you say you find your passion for fighting? Because I feel like that's gotta be a big driving force to commit yourself to something like this.
For sure. Like because a lot of it is you got to really want something, and because you're going to not want it at times. You're going to like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. But you got to want the end goal more. And I grew up wrestling, and it was very grindy and very tough and like hard and long practices. And fighting's very similar to that. It's not as hard as wrestling, but it's very similar to it. And at the gym I'm at, it was perfect. It was a great opportunity to start doing something similar to wrestling, and it was a great environment with teammates and my coaches, and it just melded. I was like, I really enjoy myself here. Mm-hmm. And then after fighting, it's just like nothing's the same. I feel so natural because you don't think about like everything else going on. You just focus so intensely on just fighting. And it just feels like comfortable in the cage more so than outside of the cage. And I also want to be the best in the world.
That helps too, and it's so cool to be able to find a passion because some people go their whole life trying to find one. So it's really cool to be able to have one. But before I let you go, why don't you let everybody know where they can follow you and maybe watch you fight next, or just where can people get to know you more?
Absolutely. My Instagram, Billy M. Goff. My Facebook page is Billy Goff, and you can follow me there. I always try to comment, so if anybody ever wants to hit me up and we can shoot the shit, get to know me more. You can follow my team's page, Team Dexter Valley Tudo, or the Rough House on Facebook, and that has you can see my journey and my teammates' journey as well. There's 3 other fighters out of my gym, and they're going to be making a big wave as well. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Billy Goff, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.